Okay, so good morning or good afternoon or good evening kung anong oras man yung pinapanood itong video lesson na to. Okay, so this is for students who were not able to attend the online class and sa mga sections na hindi na ako nakapag-online class. Okay? So, this is just a discussion for the last topic since hindi na tayo aabot ng cycle 6. Kaya i-discuss ko siya, no, for the sake of mas maintindihan niyo po yung PowerPoint presentation that I already uploaded in the Google Classroom. Okay? So let's start na po para hindi siya masyadong mahaba. Kasi pag mahaba, hindi niyo siya pinapanood, no? Hopefully matapos ko siya within 30 minutes. Kasi madali lang naman tong lesson na to. Okay, so let us start. Okay, so from lesson 1 up to lesson 4, we understand the characteristics of Earth, what are the things that is happening inside the Earth. Okay, this time we're going to focus how these happenings or phenomenon affect us. Okay, so for the lesson, okay. Ayan. Okay, for the lesson 5, we're going to focus on different geologic, hydrologic, and atmospheric processes and disaster. Okay, it is more on like the application of the phenomena that we understand or we discuss for the past lessons. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you are already familiar with disaster. Okay, so again, let's give the definition of what is a disaster is. So disaster is a sudden and severe event that causes significant disruption, destruction, and often result in substantial human, economic, and environmental losses. Okay, now it highlights that disaster is a severe event. Okay, it is a severe event because kapag nangyari po siya, malaking effect sa atin. Okay, now, take note that not all disaster is sudden. Kasi pag sinabi natin sudden, it's a surprise without any signal, nangyayari siya. Okay, not all disaster are sudden, but we can also take note that there are disaster na namomonitor natin. Now, to give you an idea, ano ba yung mga disaster na namomonitor natin? Of course, it's the storm. Okay, monitor po siya ng pag-asa na possible dumating siya ng ganitong araw. Kaya may time tayo makapaghanda. But what are the common disaster na sinosurprise tayo? Okay, to give you an idea, yung gagawin nyo po sa performance task number 2, which is the earthquake. Okay, kasi ang earthquake, hindi siya monitor, hindi tayo nabibigyan ng heads up. Or, kasi sa Japan kasi, very ano na ang Japan, mataas na talaga ang technology. Sa Japan kasi, 5 minutes before mangyari yung disaster, yung earthquake, nagno-notify na po sa phone. Okay, possible po yun. 5 minutes or just seconds, nare-reach or nare-react na po si phone. Kasi, later on, madidiscuss natin bakit. No? Kasi si earthquake, hindi naman siya automatic nagre-reach sa surface. May dinadaanan pa siya. Kaya meron siguro mga 5 minutes or siguro mahaba na yung 5 minutes eh. Kadalasan mga sa 3 minutes or 1 minute. No? Nagdo-notify sa cellphone sa Japan. Hopefully, ang Philippines, no? Ma-adapt po natin yon. Now, may dalawa po tayong classification of disaster which is very easy to understand, natural and man-made disaster. Okay, what's the difference between these two for those who are not familiar with the word natural and man-made? Okay, from the word itself, natural, it's a phenomenon that is already happening in the earth, whether we exist or not. Whether we like it or not, nangyayari po siya sa earth. Okay, example of natural disaster are earthquake, typhoon, volcanic eruption, tsunami, thunderstorm, and many more. Okay, these are natural disaster phenomenon that is still happening whether it exists or not. On the other hand, the man-made, from the word man-made, the reason kung bakit nangyayari po yung disaster is because of human activities such as mining, deforestation, yung mga klase ng activities that may harm the earth, okay, it is man-made disaster. So, common example of man-made disaster are landslide and flash flood. Okay, so yun ha, pinagkaiba ni natural and ni man-made. Now, Disaster has three subdivision, depends on where it is happening. So if disaster happens in land, it is geologic. Okay, from the word geo, which means earth, alam nyo na yan, sa geosphere, no? Yung subsystem of the earth. Geosphere, geologic, land. Hydrosphere, hydrologic. Disaster happens on water. Atmospheric, atmosphere, and meteorologic are disaster that is related to the atmosphere. Okay, so ano po yung mga example ng mga geologic, hydrologic, and atmospheric disaster? Now, we will focus on disaster that the Philippines is experiencing. Okay, marami po kasi tayong klase ng disaster, but since we're living in the Philippines, we're just gonna focus on the disaster that is happening in our country. Okay, so for the geologic disaster, we have earthquake, volcanic eruption, and then we have the landslide. Now, take note, hindi lang po tatlo ang geologic disaster ha. There's a lot of geologic disaster such as avalanche, sandstorm. Okay, mag-focus lang po tayo sa tatlo because these three, the geologic disaster are commonly happens in our country. Okay, kasi wala naman tayong buhangin dito, no? Impossible magkaroon ng sandstorm sa atin at mas lalo naman si avalanche kasi wala tayong snow. Ayan. Okay, let's start with the common geologic disaster, which is the earthquake. In the past lesson, we already discussed that earthquake happens when the plate or there's a sudden movement in the tectonic plates. Okay, to give it more definition, what is really earthquake? Earthquake is a sudden release of energy when rocks along a fault move. Okay, when two plates move, especially in the plate boundaries, nagre-release po yun ng energy. Now, when this energy reach the surface of the earth, nararamdaman po natin siya as a form of earthquake. Now, why earthquake is destructive? Because the energy of the earthquake travels in all direction. Kaya minsan, example, lumindol sa Manila. And it just happened na sobrang lakas niya to the point na nararamdaman natin siya hanggang sa Cavite. Okay, that is how destructive po si earthquake. Kasi nagta-travel yung energy from different direction. Ayan. Wait lang. Okay? Now, what's the appearance or the anatomy of earthquake? Ano bang itsura niya kapag nangyayari po siya? Okay, commonly, earthquake happens in the plate boundaries. So, ano yung mga plate boundaries natin? Okay, we have the convergent, divergent, and transform. Okay, take note, in these plate boundaries, makikita po natin yung different type of fault line. Ano yung different type of fault line natin? Very good. Normal, reverse, and strike-slip fault. Okay. Now, when stress happens, ano yung three kinds of stress natin? Shearing, compression, and tension. Ang mangyayari doon, gagalaw yung lupa natin in a specific plate boundaries. Now, when that happens, bakit nga ba sa Japan merong interval bago mangyari yung event, no? Para nakakaroon ng notification yung phone nila within sabihin natin 5 seconds or 10 seconds para makapag-evacuate sila. Kasi po, yung energy, magsa-start po yan sa loob po ng earth, beneath the earth. Okay, to be specific, what part or specific place po magsisimula yung energy? Okay, magsisimula po yan sa tinatawag nating focus or hypocenter. When the plate boundaries move, lahat ng energy magsa-start sa loob, which is the focus and hypocenter. Kaya po may kunting interval, no, sa Japan, nakaka-receive pa sila ng notification bago mangyari yung event. Now, ano pong tawag natin dun sa energy that is released during an earthquake? It is called seismic wave. Okay, ulitin ko, seismic wave. Seismic wave starts saan? Focus or hypocenter. Ngayon, kailan natin siya mararamdaman? Mararamdaman natin siya kapag lumabas na po siya sa fault line. Okay? So, fault line. When the energy reach the surface, lalabas po yung energy na yon sa fault line. Ngayon, paano po nalalaman ng mga scientists kung saan nanggagaling yung source ng earthquake? Kasi nga sabi natin, si earthquake can travels in all direction. Nasa Manila, mararamdaman pa natin sa part ng Cavite. So, paano na-identify ng mga scientists saan yung specific lugar? Kasi tandaan, malaki po si fault line. Okay? So, from the fault line, nagtatravel na siya in all direction. So, paano nila nalalaman? Okay? Hinahanap po nila yung tinatawag po nating epicenter. Okay, ulitin natin. Hinahanap po nila yung tinatawag nating epicenter. Okay, now, epicenter is a specific part of fault line wherein the seismic wave is stronger. Bakit po stronger yung seismic wave sa epicenter? Because it is directly above the focus. Okay? So, walang malilito ha. When someone asks you, where is the source of the seismic wave, you will answer, focus or hypocenter. What is the specific location in the fault line? Can we locate the seismic wave? Your answer will be epicenter. And when someone asks you what is above the focus, you will answer epicenter. Ayan. Okay, so if you have any questions regarding what is really happening during earthquake, you can ask me via face-to-face. Okay? Now, so how do we measure the earthquake? We measure the earthquake using the magnitude and intensity. Okay, so what's the difference between magnitude and intensity? Kasi maraming nalilito. And if you watch the news, how come nagkaiba sa intensity pero iisa lang po si magnitude? Okay, magkaiba po kasi yung mini-measure nila. Okay, magnitude measure the strength of the earthquake. On the other hand, intensity measures the degree of effect of an earthquake. Okay, now, explain ko para mas malinaw with an example. Okay, example, nagkaroon po ng lindol sa Manila. Naramdaman po ng ibang part ng Cavite. Now, the scientists will try to measure using the seismograph yung earthquake. Nakita nila na ang strength ng earthquake is magnitude 3. Okay, example is magnitude 3. Ngayon, yung source ng earthquake, when they try to locate the epicenter, they locate it in the Manila. Ngayon, if I will ask you which city will receive the most damage, is it Manila or Cavite? What will be your answer? Okay, so if your answer is Manila, that is correct. Okay? Si Manila po, mas malaki yung damage na marireceive niya compare po kay Cavite. Why? Because Manila is the very source of the earthquake. Now, pagdating po sa effect or sa damage na na-receive, we measured it using the intensity. So, possible si Manila, since siya yung source ng earthquake, the intensity they receive is intensity 3. But since Cavite is far away from the source of the earthquake, we can say that the damage received by the city of Cavite is just intensity 1. Parang naramdaman nyo lang, pero walang natumba or anything. Possible sa Manila meron. Okay, so that is intensity. But when someone asks you, gaano kalakas yung earthquake, we are using the magnitude. Kasi iisa lang ang magnitude na hindi siya nagbabago. Okay, so how do we, what's the scale to measure the magnitude and intensity? So to measure the magnitude, we are using the Richter, and to measure the intensity, we are using the Mercalli scale. Yan. Okay, so there are two types of earthquake, or basically the two reasons bakit nagkakaroon ng earthquake. First one, alam nyo na to, which we discussed during lesson 3, is because of the movement of the tectonic plates. So kadalasan sa mga plate boundaries. So that's if that is the reason, then we called it as tectonic earthquake. Now, If it's because of the volcanic eruption, we called it volcanic earthquake. Ayan ha. Okay, madali lang. Basta lupa, tectonic. Kapag vulkan, volcanic earthquake. Ayan. Okay, so what are the hazards happens during earthquake? Bakit nga ba siya disaster? Okay, because of this, ground shaking, surface faulting, liquefaction, tsunami, and landslide. Another hazard that can be triggered because of the earthquake is the sinkhole. Ayan. So paano ba nangyayari si sinkhole? Explain natin. Okay? Kapag umulan, as part of our lesson 1, we said that hindi malinis yung ulan natin. Bakit? Kasi kumukuha siya ng tubig sa mga drainage natin. So madudumi yun. Ang nangyayari kapag umulan, tinatawag natin siyang acid rain. Ngayon, kapag kulang yung puno, no, hindi na-absorb ni puno yung acid rain. Saan or sino ngayon ang nag-a-absorb? Siyempre, si lupa. Ngayon, as the layers of rocks continuously absorb the water, ano mangyayari? Mabi-breakdown siya. Anong tawag nga natin nun sa process of breaking down of rocks? Okay, so if your answer is weathering, then you are correct. Okay, so mag-undergo ngayon si rock or layers of rock ng weathering. Ngayon, mapupunta sa ilalim hanggang magkaroon po tayo ng space or void. Ngayon, there are times na hindi matitriggered yan. Kailan siya matitriggered? Kapag nagkaroon po ng earthquake. Kapag nagkaroon ng earthquake, may void. Therefore, malambot na ang lupa. Mangyayari, magiging bangin po siya. Kaya minsan, pag nanonood po kayo ng mga balita in other country, may makikita kayo na biglang lumulubog yung bahay. Kasi po, mayroon na pong sinkhole, hindi lang sila aware. Ayan. Okay, it's one of the dangers brought by the earthquake. Ayan. Okay, so tapos na tayo sa earthquake. Again, if you have questions, tanongin nyo lang po ako via face-to-face or kung pinanood nyo to ng weekends, pwede rin naman po via messenger. Okay, now, what is volcanic eruption? Alam nyo na to kasi diniscuss nyo to sa rock cycle. Okay, volcanic eruption is basically the explosion of volcano, wherein the volcano release molten magma. Okay, now, why is it important for us to understand the volcanic eruption? Because volcanic eruption is very common in our country. Bakit? Because the Philippines is located to what we call Pacific Ring of Fire. Ma'am, what is Pacific Ring of Fire? Okay, it simply means that we are a country surrounded by active volcanoes. And if you try to look at the map, tingnan nyo, pulang-pula si pulang-pula si country, Philippines. Ano? Pulang-pula siya. Because we have a lot of active volcanoes. And it's very important for us to know as Caviteño, this volcanic eruption, bakit? Anong bulkan ang pinakamalapit sa atin? It's the very good. It's the Taal volcano. Okay, Taal volcano is one of the active volcano here in the Philippines. That is why PVOC established a danger zone. So, ibig sabihin, kapag nagkaroon ng problem si Taal volcano, automatic may ma-experience po tong mga lugar na ito. Okay? So, thankful tayo, no? This year, wala pa tayong na-encounter na problem kay Taal. But last year, naku, si Taal ay buhay na buhay, no? Anong kanyang problem? Ano yung nangyari sa kanya last year? Kaya tayo nagkakaroon din ng mga suspension. Okay, if you know the answer, very good. Kasi, aware ka sa surroundings mo. Alam mo yung nangyayari sa paligid mo. Okay, ano nangyari sa kanya? Naglabas lang naman po siya ng tinatawag nating ashfall. Nag-aalboroto po kasi siya. Okay, so these are the hazards brought by volcanic eruption. Pyroclastic flow, gases po siya, pero kapag pumasok ka dyan sa loob, napakainit. No, kung familiar ka sa Attack on Titan, Kung napanood niyo yung scene ng, bias ko doon, yung favorite character ko si Hanji 'no, na ano lang siya ng usok pero nasunog siya, gano'n yung feeling ng pyroclastic flow. Okay, anyway, for those students lang na familiar do'n. Okay, then we have the lahar and then the lava flow. Lava flow ha, when it's inside, it's called magma. When it's outside, lava na po. Okay, and then we have the ash fall, which is the thing that happened about Taal last year. Ayan. Okay? So, tapos na tayo sa earthquake, tapos na rin tayo sa volcanic eruption. Okay, let us now proceed to the landslide. O, alam niyo na to. Okay, landslide is basically the downward movement of the soil, rocks, and other debris from higher ground to the lower ground. Mostly ang landslide po ay caused by human activities such as deforestation, mining, excavation, and land pollution. And if it may cause, and ang cause if ang cause naman ay natural disaster, natural phenomenon, it could be the typhoon or earthquake. Yan. So again, what's the effect of the landslide? Damage to property, yan, clearing forested area, deposition of landmass, transportation problem, and even death. Take note, si landslide, hindi kayo ini-inform yan kung mangyayari po siya. That is why it's one of the very dangerous disaster, geologic disaster here in the Philippines. Okay, so tapos na po tayo dun sa tatlong geologic disaster. So we have earthquake, very good. We have volcanic eruption, and then we have the very good landslide. Okay, now let us proceed to the hydrologic disaster. We have the flood and the flash flood. Magkaiba pala yan, ma'am. Parehas sila na ang focus ay pagbaha. Now, the difference between this is what causes. Okay? Si flood po, ang cause niya is basically because of pag-apaw po ng tubig. Okay, example, bodies of river, kung malapit sa inyo, then umapaw siya, then bumaha. Okay, so one of the common hazard brought by flood is subsidence, submersion, communities to water, and leptospirosis. Okay, on the other hand, si flash flood po, ang pinagkaiba ni flood at the flash flood, si flood pwede siyang still water, si flash flood may grabing pag-agos ng tubig. Sometimes the causes of flash flood is the sudden release of water from reservoir or through dam failure. If you're not aware, sometimes the government release water from the dam. Kasi meron po yung limit. Now, if the water reach the limit, sumobra siya, so the government have to release water. That may cause flood in several cities. Ma'am, bakit kailangan nilang mag-release? Kasi mas malaki po yung magiging problema kapag nasira po yung mga dam natin. No? Ano yung magiging problem? Maliban sa malaking pagbaha, okay, magiging problem pa dito ay mawawalan tayo ng source ng tubig. Ayan. So, safety protocols lang. Yan. Okay, so yun lang naman flood and flash flood. Other hydrological that we can consider is also the tsunami, but it's rare, no? Hindi siya masyadong nangyayari sa Philippines. Rare siya mangyari, unlike sa Japan. Japan is really prone to tsunami. Kaya when you try to look at their beaches, marami silang mga walls, matataas na walls, panangga sa tsunami. Now, let's proceed to atmospheric and meteorologic disaster, which are most of them are natural disaster. Let us start with the most famous, na laging hindi natatapos ang taon na hindi natin siya mararanasan, the tropical cyclone. What's tropical cyclone? Basically, it's just a storm, bagyo. Okay? So, tropical cyclone is a severe weather disturbance characterized by strong winds and heavy rainfall. Now, tropical cyclone has three names: hurricane, cyclone, and typhoon. So, ano pinagkaiba nila? Okay, para-paras lang naman sila ng tinutukoy ay storm. The difference is how or where they are formed. So, if the sabihin natin yung bagyo'y nabuo sa eastern North Pacific and northern Atlantic, we call it as hurricanes. And if it's formed in the South Pacific and Indian Ocean, we call it a cyclone. And if it form in the western North Pacific, we call it typhoon. So ano yung kadalasan nararamdaman ng Philippines? We are prone to experience the cyclone, which is kadalasan nabubuo po sa Indian Ocean and South Pacific. Pero more on Indian Ocean kasi yun yung pinakamalapit sa atin. And then, typhoon, which is formed in the western North Pacific. Ma'am, is it possible to experience, the Philippines experience the hurricane? It's rare. Kasi po, bago pa makarating yung hurricane sa country natin, is either mahina na siya para tawaging bagyo or nalulusaw na po siya. Ayan, nagta-travel po kasi yung bagyo natin. No, paano po nalalaman ni Pag-asa if dadaan po yung bagyo sa atin? Dadaan po sila based on their movement. Wait lang. Yan. Okay, yan. So, if the cyclone or the typhoon is formed in the north, the rotation of the typhoon is counterclockwise. If it's formed in the south, the rotation of the cyclone is clockwise. Kaya nalalaman po ni Pag-asa kung aabot po sa atin yung bagyo based on their movement. Diba? Okay, excuse me po. Okay, so what is the anatomy of the tropical cyclone or typhoon? So we have the eye wall, the inner and the outer rain bands. Okay, so what are the hazard? Ayan. Okay, so mamaya na sa hazard. Explain ko muna. Na-experience nyo na ba yung nagsuspend, nagbagyo, and then wala namang masyadong ulan? No, nabalitaan nyo, signal 1 daw kayo, pero pag silip nyo, wala namang ulan. Okay. Ang iba po kasi, ang thinking nila, ang mini-measure po sa bagyo ay yung rainfall. Now, to clear that, hindi po rainfall ang mini-measure sa bagyo. Ang mini-measure po sa bagyo ay hangin. Now, if you try to look at the anatomy of the typhoon, pagdating po sa eye at eye wall, di ba kita nyo buo-buo dyan, mas malalakas po yung hangin na dala nila. Possible dyan, may tumutumbang puno, may mga lumilipad na yero, may mga lumilipad na bubong, sa sobrang lakas po ng hangin. Kadalasan po kung siniswerte ka, sa eye at eye wall, hangin lang yung mabilis, hangin lang yung malakas dyan, at little amount of rainfall. And lahat ng rainfall po kadalasan ay mararamdaman sa inner at outer rain bands. Pero, hindi po lahat ng ganong oras, no? Kasi such as the Yolanda, what makes Yolanda destructive is because malakas na ang hangin, malakas pa ang ulan. So, how does the Pag-asa warn us? Di gumagamit po sila ng PSWS or also known as the Philippine Public Storm Warning Signal. So, dyan yung malalaman kung gaano kalakas or kabilis po yung bagyo. Okay, so what are the hazards? Of course, the strong wind and we have the heavy rainfall. Another hazard brought by the typhoon is the storm surge. Narinig niyo ito kadalasan sa mga balita. Storm surge mostly happens in the coastal areas. When we say coastal areas, malapit po sa mga dagat, sa mga ilog. So, ano po nangyayari during storm surge? So, sobrang lakas po ng hangin, sobrang lakas po ng mga alon. To the point na umaabot na sa mga kabahayan. Ayan, that's storm surge. Okay, so proceed na tayo. Tapos na tayo sa tropical cyclone. Proceed na tayo sa tornado and water spout. Okay, tornado and water spout are rapidly swirling condensation funnel whose narrow and come in contact either with the ground or bodies of water. So, if it's formed in the ground sa lupa, we call it tornado. But it forms in the water, we call it as water spout. So, what hazard does it bring? Strong whirlwind, flying debris, fire. So someone asked from other section how tornado is formed using the fire. Kapag tumama yan sa poste, tornado has charge. No, pwede niyang i-triggered yon, tapos meron siyang dalang apoy. No, nagkakaroon siya ng apoy sa loob. No, kapag yan ay tumama sa open field, kumakalat. Another one is kapag meron ng apoy sa open field. Kadalasan kasi ang tornado nabubuo siya sa mga bakanting lote or sa mga farm. Diyan siya nabubuo. Okay, kasi mas open po yung area, mas mabilis yung contact ng hot and cold temperature, cold air. So, yun. So, kung meron ng apoy, nagkaroon pa ng tornado, mas kakalat po yung apoy. Okay? Ayan. So, this is the tornado, the first picture, and then we have the water spout. Na-form po siya in the water. Kadalasan naranasan po yan ng mga seaman. No? Okay, personal na po tayo. Next, we have the famous naririnig po talaga natin sa weather forecast, which is the thunderstorm. 'Di ba? Minsan sa balita nakalagay thunderstorm advisory. Ayan. Okay, so ano ba thunderstorm? Okay, thunderstorm is very dangerous because aside from it has winds, strong winds, heavy rainfall, it also carries lightning. Ayan. Kaya one of the hazards brought by the thunderstorm is lightning, no? Pag may thunderstorm, wag kang masyadong lalabas kasi baka tamaan ka ng kidlat. And ma'am, tinatamaan po ba talaga ng kidlat ng tao? Ako nagsasabi sa inyo, possible po iyon. If you watch the news, maraming mga Filipino ang na-experience ng tamaan ng kidlat at nakakatakot po talaga. Okay? Bakit po nagkakaroon ng thunderstorm sa Philippines? Because of what we call the monsoon. Ayan, meron tayong dalawang klase ng monsoon. We have the hanging habagat and the hanging amihan. Okay, si hanging habagat, also known as southwest monsoon, and then we have the hanging amihan, or also known as the northeast monsoon. Anong nararamdaman natin ngayon? Okay, ang nararamdaman po natin ngayon ay si hanging habagat. Okay, that is why one of the hazard brought the habagat season is heavy rainfall. Kaya kahit wala pong bagyo, nagsususpend tayo sa sobrang lakas ng ulan. At one of the hazard brought by this habagat is flash flood, no? Because of the heavy rainfall. Si amihan naman po ay may ulan din. But most of them ay most of brought by hadaamihan is yung wind niya. Kaya common po tayo magkaroon ng skin, intestinal, or respiratory disease during the amihan season. Lalo na kasi yung hangin niya galing sa northern part. Ayan. Okay, so we are done. Tapos na tayo sa tatlo. Tapos na tayo sa tropical cyclone, tornado and water spout, and also with the thunderstorm. Proceed na tayo sa pinakalas, which is the hailstorm. Yan. Kung minalas-malas man ang Philippines, hindi nagsusnow sa Pilipinas. Anong possible umulan? Umulan po ng yelo. Ma'am, possible pa talaga umulan ng yelo sa Philippines? Yes. It's one of the rare cases that abnormality happens in the atmosphere. Kadalasan dahil sa tao. Okay, are you familiar with man-made rain? Tama ba? Man-made rain? Basta gawa ng tao yung ulan. No? Naglalagay sila ng salt. Kadalasan kapag too much ang nangyayari, ang after nun, no, instead na raindrops, ang nangyayari, umuulan po ng yelo. Na-experience ko na po to one time, bahay pa namin ay yero. So imagine, no, umuulan ng yelo, tapos ang bahay niyo ay gawa sa yero, ay ang ingay, no? Ang ingay, sobra. Okay? So, this could bring hazard like storm of ice particles. So, again, anong gagawin kapag may hailstorm? Magstay po sa bahay. Kasi parang pag lumabas kayo niyan, kapag nakapayong kayo, butas ang payong nyo. Kasi yelo po ang umulan. So, imagine, tinatamaan po kayo ng bato. Okay? So, what can we prepare? What can we do to prepare for different disaster? Before, wala po ito. But now, the Philippines have now what we call the hazard map. Okay, someone for other section ask, paano po nangyayari ito si hazard map? Sino gumawa? Okay, pinagtulong-tulungan po yung lahat ng government of the Philippines, NDRMC, DNR, PhilVox, Pag-asa. Okay, pinagtulong-tulungan po nila yan. So, with the help of the local government, they ask what are the common problems faced or disaster by the country, and then they plot it in a one map. Okay, nung batch namin, wala to si hazard map, no? But you are thankful and we are thankful to have this kind of map. Kasi marami siyang pwedeng i-aware po sa atin. By looking at it, we can notice that, okay, this country or this place, prone siya sa bagyo, prone siya sa earthquake because of the fault line, ayan. Okay, this is the importance of having a hazard map. So how do we cope up with the effects of the disaster? Pwede siyang idagdag doon sa inyong performance task number 2. Okay, stay positive, be informed, stay alert, guard yourself and your family, follow safety measures, stay home, and pray. Okay, meron pa kayo pwedeng idagdag dyan, dagdagan nyo na lang, at mapapanood ko naman yan sa inyong performance task number 2. Okay, so that's it for our lesson 5. The final lesson, the final discussion for the first quarter. Please watch this video, review, and yeah, take down notes. Okay, so if you have any questions regarding what I have discussed, do not hesitate to message me via messenger, or talk to me via face to face. Okay, so that's all for today. Good luck on your final exam. Galingan nyo. Madali lang naman ang final exam compare sa ating summative. Okay? So, that's all for today. Goodbye and have a great day.